Hello, and welcome to this video on what to do if emotions run high during a feedback conversation. We are going to cover both what to do if your emotions run high going into the conversation or during the conversation, and what you can do if the other person's emotions run high. They get angry, or there are tears, or they get defensive. We're going to cover this in two different pieces. First, what you can do for yourself to ground yourself both ahead of time and in the moment so you can show up from a place of calm, confidence, and from a place that is aligned to your values. Then we're going to hit on some really practical tactics of ways you can approach the situation in the moment if emotions run high on the part of the other person as well. And this is critical. Most of the time, your feedback situations are not going to have emotions run high, but sometimes they do. And I know this is a concern for many of you or something that you think about. So we wanted to give you tools of what to do for yourself and for others. These are going to be good for you, for the other person, and really just to get a good outcome in the situation as a whole. So first, let's dive into the first topic, which is really all about you. And this is about grounding yourself. Grounding yourself so that you can show up from a place of calm confidence and to get the best outcome in the situation and to do and say things that are aligned to your values. Because in a feedback situation, a lot of things can unground you. Perhaps you are nervous going into that conversation. It's going to be a hard message, and it's hard to deliver. You can be nervous about that. Or maybe you're worried that you're going to say the wrong thing or make a mistake. Or maybe you're annoyed at the other person because they did this thing and now you have to go give them feedback in the first place. All of those things can unground you. And oftentimes you feel this ungrounding in your body. Maybe you get a pit in your stomach because of nerves, or you feel your heart beating faster, you get warm, or it's harder to catch your breath. All of these are really signals that you have become ungrounded. So what do you do? What do you do in the moment and ahead of time so that you can walk into the situation grounded and be in alignment with your values for the best outcome in the situation? Because let's be honest, we have all been in situations where we have said something that we did not mean to say because we got ungrounded, or maybe you said the words okay, but the tone just came out in a tone you did not want. You were not anticipating that that's what was going to come out of your mouth, or that's the way you were going to say it. We've all been there, so have some compassion for yourself if that shows up. And also, these tactics and tools we're going to talk about right now can help you avoid doing that in the first place. So, first, grounding yourself ahead of time. If you are nervous walking into the conversation where you have to give someone feedback, these are things that you are going to want to do. First is to release nerves. Do something to release those nerves. Maybe it's before going into work and starting your shift. You go for a run, or you go for a walk, or you talk to your spouse or a partner about the situation, or you journal, or you do some breath work or meditate, or whatever is going to work for you. Anything to release those nerves. And then in the lead up to the conversation, avoid things that are going to provoke anxiety. Highly recommend 5 minutes before going into this tough conversation that you don't pick up your phone and start scrolling through the news and through social media. That is not going to be helpful. Another thing that can provoke anxiety for a lot of people is rushing. So if you're able to give yourself just a few minutes so that you aren't literally running into that conversation, and so that you have a moment to do the last thing, which is to center, to take a breath or to go for a walk around the block and just center and come into that conversation from a grounded, calm, confident place. This is going to set you up so much better for the conversation at hand. So this is what you can do ahead of time. What about now in the moment? Because there are times you walk in feeling completely fine. You anticipate that it's all going to be good, or you did your grounding ahead of time and you're feeling calm, you're feeling grounded. And then something happens in the conversation you were not anticipating. Maybe they have a question you didn't anticipate, or maybe they're reacting in a strong way. And suddenly you get ungrounded, you get defensive, or you get annoyed, or you get angry. And you need to come back into yourself, into your body, into your own grounding. There are two steps associated with this, and they are things you can do in any situation, in front of any person. I have done these on a stage, leading a training for hundreds of people, and no one knows that I am doing them. Two steps to reground in the moment. The first is to connect to physical things. So if you feel yourself getting ungrounded, feel your feet on the ground. Feel the tile or the carpet or the cement that's below your feet. And then put your hands either on the desk or table or even on your legs and feel that connection that is there. Notice the support of the chair beneath you. Connecting to these physical things will help to ground you in the moment, to get out of your head, back into your body, and then to simply take a breath. Ideally, in through your nose, all the way down to your lower belly, and then release out of your mouth. And truly, even just taking a breath, even if you forget to connect to physical things, just taking that breath in through your nose and then letting it out through your mouth will give you just a moment to create some space for you to reground, which allows you to choose how you are going to show up. Choose to show up from a place of confidence, calm, groundedness, and a place that is aligned to your values. By the way, you can use either of these in any type of situation where you are using your voice or nervous. I used this with a group that was doing sales presentations in a training I did last winter, same exact steps, so they could show up from a place of calm, confidence, and alignment with their values. All right, so these are the things that you can do simply for yourself to ground yourself. Now, what about if the other person gets emotional? What are some steps that you can take? First, go back to everything we talked about in the training. Go back to reminding yourself why this is important to have the conversation in the first place, even if those barriers are there. Stick to the facts and use the feedback model that we talked through. These are going to be your best tools along with grounding yourself. Now, going along with that, doing the best you can to speak calmly and to simply keep a neutral tone. Breathing and grounding yourself is going to really help you to stay in this more neutral place so that you are almost like a buffer to the emotions in the situation as opposed to escalating the situation. You can also listen and make them feel heard. Ask them questions about where they're coming from. Listen to what they are saying. This does not mean that you agree. You do not have to agree with what they are saying for them to feel heard in the situation. But if they feel heard, even if they totally disagree, they're going to walk out of that conversation much more satisfied or maybe less dissatisfied than they would have been if they felt like this was one-sided and just coming at them and that they didn't have a chance to share their perspective and be heard. Then, as you're coming into the conversation, even when there are emotions, reiterate your key points, just a couple of them. You might even want to walk in with a couple of bullet points if you anticipate that the situation is going to get emotional so that you can ground yourself, not just in your body, but in what is most important to say. Get to the next 1 or 2 steps, those key follow-up activities, those things that you need to do after it. Really get to those 1 or 2 key steps, things that are going to happen next. And if all else fails, take a break. It's okay to do that. It's okay to take a break. If the conversation gets to a place that is simply not productive, take a break. But the key to that is to come back later, which is that last step of the feedback model. So just keep following that. Follow up. Set a plan to follow up as your next steps if the conversation can get there. Or if not, you just simply follow up and you round out the conversation on a different day when everyone's emotions have had a chance to release and to ground, and they've had a chance to process things. Come back to it. All right, so these are a few things that you can do when emotions run high in a feedback situation. Try them out and let us know in your coaching conversations, those that are coming up. Bring challenges that you've had either in the past or currently with this. We would love to talk through them with you, to talk through some tactics that you can use in that situation so that you can show up in a place that feels good and for the situation to have a really great outcome. So we will see you at those coaching sessions and bring your questions and your situations to them. All right, bye.